Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our Bex Asia's Masterclass session. And my name is Vanessa from Bex Asia. And today we would like to introduce to you our speaker, Rira from Kone. Okay. So today we are going to be talking about sustainability and innovations for enhanced people flow. And Rira is actually the new equipment business sales manager in Singapore. With 13 years of experience in the elevator industry, she joined Kone in 2015 and is currently leading the sales team since 2021. She is also responsible for the sales of the new projects in the Singapore market. So without further ado, let's welcome Rira to begin the presentation today. Thank you.
Thanks, Vanessa. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rira. I'm from Kone, Singapore. So let me share my screen. Right. So I think first of all, we would like to thank Bex Asia for this opportunity to be here today to share with you all, some of our sustainable innovations for to enhance people flow in your building or current building even. So with this, at Kone, we actually would like to contribute, by making the urban living more sustainable by offering a smart and innovative solution and services. So in this sharing, I will actually share 5 of the innovations that maybe some of you have already heard, but hopefully I can bring, bring more in-depth details and also give you some thoughts on how those innovations can actually enhance, your building sustainability in this sense. Okay, in Singapore, on top of what you want to do with the buildings, the new buildings, or even the existing buildings, there are a lot of initiatives, from the government side as well. As you can see here, the first one is actually SG Green Plan 2030. So this is actually a national sustainability movement from the government, which in order for us in Singapore to actually achieve the sustainability that we have in terms of the living and in terms of city in nature and even the green energy reset, for example. This is one of them, but I think most of you have already very familiar with this famous 80-80-80, right? So 80% of building, by gross floor area by 2030, and super low energy buildings, and also to see improvement in terms of energy efficiency. And on top of that, of course, we also have this BCA Green Mark 2021 that it compromise of a lot of sections on how we can actually contribute in order to get certified as a Green Mark buildings. Right. On top of all those sustainability and Green Mark initiative, there is also a Smart Nation initiative by the government. I think this was like since 2014. So in this Smart Nation, there are a lot of plan and also actions by the government side. And in Singapore, we are quite lucky, in Kone, we actually, get a chance to really work together and also, work together on this Smart Nation in order to actually align with initiative from the government. So with all these initiatives by the government, we can see that the trends and also challenges of the future architecture is typically like the space constraint. We would like to actually, reserve some of the space, maybe for green, and also to reduce the waste, to actually reuse or even recycle some of the materials, right? And got to choose maybe to retrofit rather than, the full demolition of it. And of course, in terms of digitalization, because nowadays, tapping to the current existing, technologies that is available. So this digital innovation and thinking and coverage is also something that is in the trend in Singapore. Right, here in this slide, you can see that actually, in May last year, if I don't remember wrongly, so we won these, Sustainability Innovation Awards jointly by this SGBC and BCA. So this award is actually, to encourage organization that is as putting, sustainability into their operations. And some of my sharing, of the innovations today will be pretty much the content of what we share or what we submitted, to SGBC and BCA in order, for us to be awarded this leadership in sustainability and innovation. Right, the first one is green building products. So I think like everyone here, most probably when you are, purchasing aircons or even fridge, right, you most probably, will look at the green ticks. I think everyone is very familiar with the green ticks. The more green ticks it is, it will be, supposedly to be a more energy efficient products. So, but not many knows that actually, lift and escalators is actually part of this Singapore green building product as well, since 2013. So we were the first one to actually, champion and to be included in the categories of this SGBP certification. Right, and today, of course, we are very proud to say that we are still the company, right, with the highest number of products. 7 of them is, if you can see here, so 2 of them is actually escalators, and we have 5 of our product, a lift product is actually certified as the leader ratings in our industry. So maybe this is something that you want to look out for when you are actually considering, lift and escalators in your buildings. And we talk about the Green Mark 2021. So there are a lot of criteria, a lot of requirements, for everybody here, like for the building owners or even for the builder, in order to be able to succeed in green building certification. So this is a fact sheet that we develop and we kind of like compile. And as you can see here, there are some of the categories that we can actually support, and help our customer on this green building certification. Maybe I will not go into the details of every features, but some of them you are quite familiar with, like for example, VVVF, sleep mode, or even equip your lift with regenerative drive. That would actually contribute to the energy efficiency points in that vertical transportation system feature. And not only that, when it comes to maintainability, for example, more than often, or I would rather say, previously, when we don't have this technology, for example, we will always wait until the lift breakdown, and then it is very reactive. So when the lift breakdown, you will call the service provider, and the service provider will go down and then and start troubleshooting and see what's happening to the lift. But with this new technology that we have, we call it 24/7. I'm going to cover that later on in detail. It actually can contribute, point to your maintainability with this feature, because it's actually, providing a real-time monitoring of your lift. And also, with the AI technology that we have today, it can actually predict what will happen with some symptoms, from the monitoring. Okay, so I hope this can actually give you a bigger, or rather, a bigger picture on what our lift and escalators recent innovations, and also some features that can actually support you in terms of getting green building certification. Right. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to share 5 of the innovations that will most probably be able to give some impact on smart and sustainable cities and even buildings. So 3 of them will be pretty much, on the design point of view, and I'll have one innovation that I'm going to share is on the modernization or rather upgrading of the existing escalator. And also another one is on the maintainability. So the first innovation that we are looking here is, we call it Kone Ultra Rope. So typically, traditionally, right, I think all of you already know that, lift is actually, we have steel ropes, in lift that actually, hoist the lift car, so that, typically we use steel ropes. But steel ropes, being steel, right, is very heavy. There are some challenges of steel ropes. So heavy is one of them. So when the building grows higher, then this is a very big challenge, because when it comes to, if you have many steel ropes to pull the lift car, then your mass, your moving mass is very high. So that is also the reason why we need to have, higher or rather a compensation to actually balance it out. So, and also in terms of energy wise, also it will actually, have much higher consumption of energy, right? So that is also the reason why we are actually introducing Kone Ultra Rope. But aside from that, steel rope is also get stressed, right? Many times maybe you will hear a service provider say that we would have to turn off your lift because we have to shorten the steel ropes, or even we have to replace the steel ropes, because the lifespan of the steel ropes is also quite is typically around 5 to 7 years, depend on the usage. So that is also the reason why most probably you will see more of the downtime if you are having steel rope in a higher kind of high-rise buildings, for example. Yeah, aside from that, we need to lubricate steel ropes. So lubrication with oil, and when it comes to oil, most of the time when we are talking about environmental, it's not exactly an environmental friendly product. So this is also one of the reasons why for high-rise building, for example, you would most probably want to consider Kone Ultra Rope. So Kone Ultra Rope is actually made of carbon fiber. So carbon fiber, they don't stretch, you don't need to lubricate it. And the lifetime, as of now, conventionally, we can say that is typically is around 15 years. So in this case, right, basically with this Kone Ultra, it's really enhanced energy efficiency, and also pretty much reduce waste. It is because when you have that 15 years, you will most probably already change a few times of steel ropes. And therefore, even though we know that steels, yes, you can still recycle it, but of course, if you can reduce the consumption, that will be more beneficial, right, rather than recycling it. So this is one of the innovation that actually can help if you are considering high-rise, for example. And of course, with the lightweight Kone Ultra, right, definitely it will actually increase the feasibility or the possibility of having lift travel distance much higher than conventional steel rope. And here we can see that it can be actually go up to about 1 kilometer. Right, I have a case study here just for an example. So aside from the energy efficiency point of view, we can actually see a reduction of the shaft size as well. Vertically. So as you can see here is an example for about 200-meter building, 1,600 kilogram lift, traveling at about 6 meters per second. So with this comparison, I can see, because as I mentioned earlier, with steel rope, you will need the compensation, either chain or rope, in order to balance out the weight of the steel rope. But here, if you're applying Kone Ultra Rope, we don't really need the compensation, and that is also the reason why we can actually reduce the pitch and also the headroom. So if you can see here, the reduction of the vertical sizes is quite significant. It's actually quite close, more than actually 2 meters in this case. So this is something that actually can help in terms of if you really need the space or the GFA to actually support the green kind of initiative. Right, so I'll share some of the references here for Kone Ultra Rope. Of course, we have some, we have more than this for sure globally, but I picked some of the nearest to us, those that is nearest to us. Australia, we have some, in China, CITIC Tower, and of course in Singapore, we have, here we can see 3 of the projects is actually equipped with Ultra Rope already. So I think the Marina Bay Sands, we have already successfully, replaced 44 lifts in Marina Bay Sands already. Total, we are going to replace 46 of them, but currently because of the reopening and things like that, so we are still, ongoing on the replacement of the Ultra Rope. The first Ultra Rope in Marina Bay Sands was actually installed, or rather replaced in 2013, if I don't remember wrongly. So just now I mentioned about the 15 years conventionally for the lifetime. So in this case, for example, this is a real case at Marina Bay Sands, and now it's like 10 years already, and we don't really see a need to to replace the Ultra Rope yet. So this is really a proven technology with a proven real life case here. And we just recently also completed Millennium Towers. So that is also a modernization of Millennium Towers, and we also equip that project with Ultra Rope already. So the upcoming one, Central Boulevard Towers, is also going to be equipped with Ultra Rope. Right. Still, in the design point of view, now we are looking here is, I think as you can see, this is a bit like a turnstile, but it's not a traditional turnstile. So most of the time in, Grade A office or even mixed development, we will definitely, get to see turnstiles at the lobby. And most of the time, the turnstile is actually, will actually integrate, or rather, integrate together with the lift as a destination control system in order to have a better efficiency of the lifts. So these turnstiles, right, typically is about 2 meters long, and it will definitely take some space at the lobby. With this new innovation, we call it Kone Lane Turnstile. As you can see, the look is very slim, and it's just like a gate. But by having this slim and sleek design, we are not compromising the security. So most of the time when we are talking about turnstile, you actually, the concern will be more on like anti-tailgating, anti-passback and this kind of things. So this is actually, being preserved, and also, of course, is actually improved by this time of flight sensor technology. So basically what this sensor technology do is you will have a kind of virtual sensors to make sure that all this security is being taken care of. So with this very sleek and very sleek design, definitely the floor space that you need at the lobby will be pretty much quite reduced for quite a lot. You can see here is typically it's about 90% of it. So you see there's this C and with the arrows and things like that. These are actually the projection. Sometimes when you use turnstile, when you are using your phone, for example, and you cross over turnstile, you may not notice that, okay, there's already a lift assigned to you, because DCS or destination control system will actually assign lift to the users so that it can improve the, the efficiency of the lifts. So if you miss it, right, with this Kone Lane turnstile and the indications there, most probably you will get to know which lift to take. So this is something that is actually able to improve the user experience, and also most probably will be able to improve the building image as well, right? And of course, this design, it actually won us innovation product from Red Dot in 2021. So I have a comparison of a conventional turnstile versus the Kone Lane. As you can see here, right, the length is still the same, because there is a requirement for the width of the lane. But if you see it right from the floor space point of view, it's really, you can save quite a lot of space in this sense. And this Kone lane is also come with a few options. Say for example, you can have it actually longer in order to improve a security, right? Okay, for the third one is connectivity. Okay, more than often, I think when we are talking about smartphone, you can actually think of your lift now as a smartphone, because with this new digital elevator, we actually connect all our lift to the cloud already. So it's already built in, and it comes with standard for Kone products, Kone lifts, and it's all ready. So why I illustrate it as a smartphone? When you purchase a smartphone, for example, and you download any apps, you don't want your smartphone. You would want your smartphone to be able to be future-proof. Say for example, the apps, there's always a new version of apps. You don't want to replace anything or add any hardware to your smartphone in order to use the apps. Same thing to lift. You would want the lift to be future-proof in order to actually be more sustainable. You don't want to be down the road, like maybe 2-3 years later, when when you want to build an ecosystem in your building, you are not able to do that. So with these DX class elevators, I mean, the possibility is really endless, right? It can actually, combine with the new apps, services, or anything that is available even now or in the future. For example, someone may be able to write an apps and would like to connect it to the lift. We can actually interface it, and the lift is already to be interfaced. This is via the APIs. So it can be easily integrated, because gone are those days that last time when we were looking at lift, right, it's really a standalone kind of M&E services. Or I would rather say most of the M&E services previously is actually pretty much standalone, very much not be able to integrate with each other. So this is not the case as of now, because we are looking at ecosystem. We are looking at the whole integration in order for you as a building owner or building management, facilities management, to be able to actually manage and to manage the building in a high level of so that when everybody interface together, then you can actually manage in a high level. So this is the advantage of digital elevators. And also, part of it is also you can actually real-time tracking and real-time managing the energy performance, for example. And also, if let's say there are some integration nowadays, when we're talking about robots, it is everywhere in Singapore now is a big topic. So you would want your robot to actually be able to communicate with the lift as well. Right. So when all these are open for with this Kone DX class elevator. So when we are talking about partners that we can actually integrate with, these are some of the partners that we have already successfully integrated with them. You can see there are a big range of them. Habitat is one of the smart home apps. They developed the platform for smart home or office. Smart office apps. Amazon, Yunji is a robot provider company. Blind Square is a very interesting apps. It's actually more for the less privileged users. So I will actually share some of the example later. The real life videos that is already successfully integrated. But maybe I can take an example for Habitat, for example. So say, for example, you are staying at a condo and you know the condo is using Habitat smart home apps. So typically, when you have the smart home apps, right, you will be able to book a barbecue pit, tennis court. You'll be able to even turn on your aircon before you reach your home. And now with the interfacing with the lift, you'll be able to call the lift as well when you're on the move. Meaning to say, like you reach your car park, and then you would like your lift to be ready at your car park level, and you can actually call the lift while you're walking to the lobby. So that is the possibility. Aside from that, these smart home apps also enable visitor management, for example. So in this case, right, when we interface with Habitat apps, and when you have a visitor, you can actually send them the QR code, or they can actually scan the QR code at the visitor call panel, and they will be authorized to use the lift, especially for the private lifts, in this case. So this is actually, this integration is pretty much quite minimal now, because it's, Habitat, for example, they are also cloud-based. So with having the DX Plus elevator is all ready. So it's just a matter of turning it on. So that is also this is also part of an innovation that actually can support your building to be a more smarter and also a sustainable building. Right. When we are talking about robots, as I mentioned earlier, right, Singapore is very proactive in terms of bringing in robots, because of manpower issue, because of ease of delivery or things like that. So there are a lot of robots, in the market, security robots, cleaning robots, even delivery robots, right? But every robot might have their own kind of way of interfacing. So we are very fortunate to be to participate and to actually be part of this working team together with Changi General Hospital and CapitaLand. Maybe you can also see here that Mr. Heng Shikedi is at Bedok Heartbeat. Maybe some of you have already seen this news last year. So with this working team is actually working on a standard communication protocol between robots, elevators, and automatic doors. Because when it comes to robots, right, they are actually can move around. They are supposed to move freely around. Bypass the doors at the corridors, and even can take the elevators. So that is also the reason why there's this TR93. If you see the code of practice, or rather the recommendation is TR93, or the middleware framework, the robot middleware framework, right? So so this is all feasible, and after this TR93, and many of the robot companies actually come forward to us to actually have a trial integration already. So definitely something that you would like to hopefully this is some ideas that you can actually use for your buildings, in order to make it smart and sustainable. Okay, the next two videos I'm going to share is our integration, successful integration with some of our partner. One of them is Yunji Technology. So this Yunji is a robot company. So this is in a hotel. Let me share. So from the video, I think if you happen to, able to visit the hotel, you might see the robots zooming around, taking the lifts around, but you might not realize that there is actually, this kind of interfacing via API behind it. So, right, this is, in order to give a very smooth, movement of the robots is one of the example. So there is one more example that I'm going to share. It's actually Blind Square. It's a very interesting interfacing with Blind Square apps in Germany. Or less privileged.
I'm using my smartphone to navigate a city. I have Blind Square running and it describes the environment to me, tells me which shops are coming up, intersections, street names, and so on. Using unfamiliar buildings would be easier if there were more assistive systems installed.
Ja, wir haben in unserer Arbeit die Blind Square App draußen oft benutzt und dann kam eben das Projekt im Gebäude Blind Square zu verwenden und das ist dann eben die logische Fortsetzung davon, dass wir dann die Kone-Aufzüge dann mit einem Modul ausgestattet haben, das barrierefrei ist und für Blinde benutzbar ist.
Using elevators can be a bit challenging, especially in unfamiliar buildings. You have to find them first, then you don't know how they work. They could have a keypad. The keypad can have Braille on it or not. You don't know which floor you are at if the elevator doesn't talk. And it's hard to know when to get off and to know where you are if you have gotten off at the right floor. So I'm very excited about having Kone elevators integrated into Blind Square now.
Von der selbstständigen Fortbewegung für Blinde und Sehbehinderte gibt es mehrere Ansätze, aber unser größtes Interesse ist eben die selbstständige Fortbewegung, komplett von A nach B. Die Barrierefreiheit ermöglicht eben dass man das schafft, von A nach B zu kommen. Also Technologie spielt eine sehr große Rolle. Man kann ja mit dem Smartphone unglaublich viel machen mittlerweile, aber im Grunde ist es ganz wichtig, dass der Mensch seinen Orientierungssinn behält und weiter schult und dass er mit dem Langstock, also der blinde Mensch mit dem Langstock unterwegs ist und auf der Basis von dem kann dann die Technik aufsetzen.
I think if Kone continues the collaboration with Blind Square and makes the system as perfect as possible and then uses its leverage to promote the solution, that would be great so that many people know about it, and I hope to see it in many public buildings.
Right. Yeah, so this is a very interesting example that we might not be able to see it in Southeast Asia as of now, but this is really like for the privileged, underprivileged users, a lot of convenience is available for them when with this kind of API interfacing availability. Okay. Okay, moving on to the next innovation, I'm actually would like to share with you, we call it here in Kone EcoMod. So I think, most of us is very familiar with modernization of or upgrading of the lift, right? We can, there are many times we would like to, for the, environmental and also sustainability point of view, we would like to actually, upgrade the lift, but not fully replace the lift. That would be pretty much quite straightforward for lift because typically lift, right, we do installation of it on site. But not many of us know for escalators is a bit challenging because like for new escalators, for example, we do the installation at the factory already. We install the escalator, install fully, and we can even do the testing at the factory already. And because of transportation, we kind of like cut it through the 3 sections just for the sake of transportation, and then bring to site, and then just and assemble it together again. So that is typically how the installation of escalators is done. So for the existing escalators, many times we when we are looking at existing escalators, maybe most of the time the scope is really to remove the escalators and replace with a new one. So it's in terms of sustainability point of view, it might not be the best choice in this case. So therefore, this technology that we have here in Kone is actually to preserve most of the parts that we can, like for example, the truss, because the truss is actually a metal parts and they don't really deteriorate, and we can actually preserve it. So with this EcoMod technology, you don't need to remove everything. The way how we do it is actually to remove steps by steps, remove parts by parts, and to replace it, and to remain the frame and whatever that is able to be preserved. So this is actually maybe it could be a pretty much a greener kind of option when it comes to existing escalators, right? Cost-wise, you don't need to replace everything, so definitely there will be some savings there. Of course, the most important thing is actually be able to reuse some of the materials that is already existing, and we are looking at even the existing infrastructure, because in order to remove the whole escalators, we will need to the path is a challenge. So maybe sometimes we will need to remove some of your facade even. So this is really this technology will really help in terms of you don't need to really remove the facade, or you don't need to replace it, and therefore the construction times also most probably can be reduced as well. And this is actually a proven technology. Right here, we can see some of the projects that we have done before. Scots and Wheelock Underpass, Forum, the shopping mall, Harbourfront Centre, and also 8 of these escalators at Riverwalk. So with these, right, most probably you have a better option rather than replace the whole escalators. Right, come to the last innovation that I'm going to share. So we are going, with buildings life cycle, we are going back to the maintenance point of view. So typically, like I mentioned earlier, right, typically the maintenance is actually, yes, we are doing maintenance by monthly basis. But when it comes to breakdown, last time, if you don't have this kind of predictive maintenance, it is very reactive. So when it comes to breakdown already, then you'll call us and then we will go down. However, tapping on this, current available technology, IoT, AI, we are able to predict the lift much better. And by the power of prediction, we actually will be able to capture the symptoms, to analyze it, and then to actually troubleshoot, or rather to make sure that if possible, we will actually be able to make sure the lift not going until it gets faulty already, then we come and service your lift. So aside from that, also manpower is also an issue in Singapore, as many of us know. But you may not know that lift and escalator industry is actually number 4 industry that is under the PWD, the minimum wage initiative. So after cleaner, after landscape, and after security. So this is also a constraint in our industry. That is also the reason why we are actually recommend this predictive maintenance in order to be able to maintain the lift much better. So in this case, the advantage is really to enhance the safety of the user as well, so that we can actually reduce the unexpected breakdown. Being proactive, say for example, there are some symptoms already discovered, and then we will actually the AI will actually send to the technician that, okay, for this lift, there is this symptom, at the next servicing, you most probably would like to do this, and this, and bring this part because it's potentially this might be the fault part. So with that, right, the technician will be, every technician, when it comes to troubleshooting, it always have to come with experience. So not every technician is the same with the same experience. Technician A may take 5 minutes to discover the fault, but technician B may take an hour or two. So with this predictive maintenance, the more we predict, the more we learn. I mean, the more the AI learn, and it will get more accurate. And that is also supporting on reducing waste, reducing trips down to the sites, and also being proactive, to make sure that the lift is be able to have the uptime. So some of the reference projects, this is only just 5 of them. Currently now in Singapore, we have almost close to 4,000 units already connected to the 24/7. So again, like what I mentioned, the more we learn, the more get smarter. And of course, the prediction will get more accurate in this case. Okay, tag along with these, right? So I think recently also there's this new code of practice already. Many of you may already know, by BCA is remote monitoring and this solution for lifts. So with this code of practice, it can actually, like what you see here, is, the main objective is really to save time and the manpower, especially in Singapore. And that is also, by implementing this R&D solution, right? The uptime, that is the objective of this R&D. So of course, this R&D is just released July last year. So by having this remote monitoring, proven remote monitoring and diagnostic solution, then BCA will be able to consider, to have to actually waive off the monthly maintenance requirement. So this is in the progress. So that means, it's case by case basis. So if you're interested, then most probably we can actually discuss further on this. But just to, maybe just to make a note here, it is also a privilege to actually be part of the, testing before the release of this code of practice. So in Kone, we are participating, at the testing period and very much quite proven already. Yeah. So with that, I think that is my last slide of the sharing. Right. So I think we can go to Q&A now. Yeah?
Hey, hi everyone. Thanks for your insightful sharing. I think we have quite a couple of questions coming in from the Q&A box. So I think we can address those questions also. And thanks to all the participants that actually sent in their questions beforehand. We also received quite a lot of questions, which I believe Riva will also address later on. So let's take a look at some of the questions that came in. So the first question that we have, right, we have one attendee asking, do Kone still sell products that are not SGBC listed? Do you all have products that are not SGBC listed?
Yeah. Okay. Those, just like I mentioned, we have 7 products that's already listed with SGBC. So those are the 7 products that we have. So I can safely say that, all of the products that we are selling here in Singapore is already, listed in SGBC.
Okay, great. Okay, and the next question here, this person is asking, are you able to share how to compare energy efficiency for lift model A against model B? Understanding that for a chiller system, we normally use a kW per RT. Is there any unit to compare lift consumption, such as a kW per kg or any other unit in this case?
Well, for the energy efficiency calculation, right, it is pretty much depending on the lift specification. Because for lift, as you know, it's not always the same. Like the travel height is not always the same, the speed, the capacity is not always the same. But of course, we have energy calculation tools that we can actually help the customer to kind of like calculate or even, but it really depends on the project basis. Yeah, in this case.
So it really depends on the project basis. Okay, I
Yeah.
understand. Okay, thanks for this. Okay, and the next one we have here is so are there is the radiant cooling systems common in Singapore? Do we see a lot of these kind of systems in Singapore or not so much?
Currently not so much. Currently not so much. Yeah.
Okay, so not a lot in Singapore. I see. Okay. Okay, and the next one that we have here, it talks about yeah, you want to go on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. The next one we have here, this person asks, what is the cost difference and lifespan between traditional steel ropes versus Kone Ultra rope?
Well,
Good question.
good question. So,
Yes.
ultra rope, it really depends on the. So, just like I mentioned earlier, right, ultra rope is mainly, very much quite recommended for high-rise buildings. So, it really depends on the travel height. So, of course, the higher the building, the gap is pretty much quite insignificant. But typically the first investment is about 40%. But of course, when you're looking at long life cycle, right, it will make more sense. Because like what I mentioned earlier, the steel ropes is, the lifetime is actually about 5 to 7 years. So you have to replace the ropes, every 5 to 7 years. Then, but then if, let's say, if you are talking about ultra rope, the lifetime is actually about 15 years. So with those, a consideration of a full chain lifetime, then you can see the more of the benefit for ultra rope.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. And so can ultra rope be used on other brands of lifts? If it's another brand, can ultra rope be used in this case or no?
Okay, good question. Right. Okay, other brands, I suppose this will be, upgrading of other brands. Because if, let's say, if we are talking about upgrading of other brands, most probably when we do modernization, we will have to replace some of the items, some of the parts, that, like, for example, the machines and all those in order to equip ultra rope, as part of the modernization of the lift. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And this one is also related to ultra rope. So this person is asking, when you replace ultra rope for existing projects, the PIT requirement is less deep. So do you do anything to the PIT, to the pit?
So okay, when it comes to existing projects, right, the pit requirement is less deep. I suppose this question is asking about. So I assume the existing equipment is not with ultra rope, right? And then we would like to upgrade it to ultra rope, and therefore the pit should be much deeper for normal steel rope. And do you do anything? So no, we are not going to touch the structure. So those we will take into consideration. Yes, there is this minimum pit requirement that we need. But if you are replacing existing lift, which is using steel rope to an ultra rope, then we'll do our best not to actually touch the pit requirement in this case. Yeah.
Okay, can. And we have another question that asking about do you have any example linking Kone with Gosan robotics? Anything that you can share?
Yes, Goshen Robotics. Yes, we did actually, in when we launched this DX Plus elevator, we do, have try to interface with some of the ecosystem partners Gaussian robotics is one of them. So we of course, this is an ongoing, because this is, the interfacing have to be both sides. So Gaussian robotics, if they are actually ready to be interfaced via clouds, then it's ready. But we did interface with Gaussian robotics before. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the next question here is asking about any security in place for the API, because like how hackers can like take over elevators remotely. So is there any security in place in this for your product?
Yes, this is a very good question. I mean, this question is valid because when it comes to API, of course, cyber security is really something that is very important, and that is also the reason why Kone is putting very much priority to cyber security as well. Yes, we do have cyber security in place. And when it comes to hacker, if you are talking about hackers that take over the lift, the possibility is almost zero, because we feel if just now when I mentioned, right, we are connected to the cloud, but actually we are pulling the information from the sensors, from the lift itself, rather than actually controlling the lift. So we don't control the lift via API as of now, but only to give a signal, like for example, if you are using an app, just to give the signal to say that, okay, this is authorized to use the lift. But that is all. It can't actually take over the lift, or rather, take over the whole lift. Yeah.
Thanks for that. Okay, we have, I think this is a good question. So this person is asking, what are the top 2 to 3 challenges in getting greater adoption of these solutions? And has Kone measured the difference in the environmental footprint by using these solutions?
Well, the top 2 and 3 challenges in getting greater adoption. Maybe just take for example, maybe if we take example of API. So when we want to, when we are actually available, other ecosystem partners might not be available. So this is something that is challenging, from our point of view. So so the adoption of it, that is one lah, because it has to be, integration has to be both party. So when we are ready, but other people is not ready, right? So it's very difficult to implement. But as I mentioned earlier also, there are a lot of push and a lot of initiatives from government. So hopefully in the near future, right, most of the ecosystem partners actually getting ready to be able to interface via API already. So that is something that we are looking forward in the near future. Yeah. In terms of measuring the environmental footprint and all those, of course, Kone, right, globally we have our initiative, we have our agenda, for this sustainability point of view. So yes, the global team, they have some measurements, some plan in place already, but environmental footprint is pretty much quite a big topic here. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, we still have a couple of questions. Maybe you can address another 2 more. Yeah. So one of the questions here is asking, so what is the reliability and accuracy of the predictions made from Kone's 24/7 system?
Okay. Yeah. So 24/7, as I mentioned, this is something we are tapping on AI technology, right? So as we know, AI, nowadays when you Google many times, say for example, you Google many times on property, for example, then most probably when the next moment when you open your Facebook, right, there will be a lot of ads on properties already. So this is something that we have internally. Same for Kone 24/7. So the more it learns, the more it becomes accurate. So that is also the reason why when we are talking about predictive maintenance, you will always want to consider how many equipments is already connected, from for us in Kone, yes, just I mentioned it's about 4,000 in Singapore, but globally we have about 160,000 already, about there, close to 100,000. So the more you connect, the more you learn, and now we share, you know, the learnings globally. So in this case, the reliability and accuracy wise, it will be, you know, getting much better when times goes, and you know, in the future when more of the equipment is actually equipped with this system.
Okay, great. And now the other question that we have, so for Kone's, back to Kone's ultra rope system, so how does one assess the condition of the ultra rope or know when it needs to be replaced? When do you know when to change it?
All right, Kone ultra rope. Okay, just now I didn't mention, but actually there's this monitoring, you know, also embedded in the ultra rope. So that is how we actually monitor the ropes and see if there's a time already or not. Yeah.
So you'll use that to monitor and
yes,
check.
exactly.
I see. Okay. Okay, I think we can go for another two more maybe. Okay, so the next question is, does Kone Singapore design and develop touchless buttons for lifts? If yes, what type of sensors are being used? Is it RI or is it microwave?
Yes, we do have an option for touchless buttons. Currently now is RI. Of course, in terms of touchless button in Singapore, right? Just I mentioned also, Singapore is quite regulated. So we have, you know, code requirement as well for touchless buttons. So that is also the reason why some of the things that we want to do might not be able to be implemented in Singapore. But currently now, if we are looking at touchless button, it is available, right? And it is currently now via IR.
I see. Okay. Oh yes. Could you also just share more about the key advantages of ultra rope? I think we have a participant asking to just elaborate more on what the key advantages of ultra ropes. Maybe you can just summarize for us.
Yeah, as I mentioned, ultra rope is a very lightweight, you know, comparing to the steel ropes. So it might not be applicable for all the lifts. So just now I also mentioned mainly for high-rise buildings, you know, the more, the higher the building goes, and definitely, you know, the weight of it is pretty much a big concern already due to energy consumption and things like that. So with ultra rope, this is mitigated, meaning to say you have a lighter, very light ropes, and therefore energy efficiency is there. And comparing to the steel rope also, you don't need to lubricate the ropes. Lifetime is definitely also one of the consideration, because you don't want to consume too much steel in order to replace the steel ropes. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's about the questions that we have for our live Q&A. Would you want to take any question from the questions that came in earlier, Rira, so we can also just wrap up the session with maybe one or two questions that came in from our attendees? Have you identified maybe one or two that you want to just answer?
Yeah, there are many questions actually.
Yes, we have a lot.
Yeah, but maybe it's something that is more specific, because I see there's a question, you know, on the specifics to hotels, once it's available. Actually, this question is quite interesting, because hotel, right? If you see, there are a lot of technologies and innovations that are available, and from our point of view, hotels is really a very good, you know, ground, or very good example of projects that we can actually implement a very integrated ecosystems, you know, as there are many things that we can implement there. Like for example, the robots, Concept robots. Just now I shared, you know, a video on Concept robots, service robots, you know, the cleaning robots. And even nowadays, if you see hotels, right, they have these hotel apps already. So are we able to, you know, make it even smarter to, you can actually, you know, check in into the hotel via the apps, go inside the room via the apps, but can you, even call the lift, via the apps? So this is a very, good project that we can actually implement this kind of integrated ecosystem. Yeah, I think this is something that we can look for.
Yes, I think that's a good question too. Yeah, something different from the other questions that we've seen. Maybe, yeah. Do you have any other question you would like to give your final take?
Yeah, maybe the last question, because
Yes.
this question is also very relevant, and also I think it's quite important. There's this question, how safety and reliability of machine impacted when trying to achieve green building goals. So in fact, the safety and reliability of the lift, right, can never be compromised. Be it compliance, code compliance, be it, as a service provider, the reliability and safety is always our top priority. So even though, we are having a lot of innovations driving us to these sustainability, smart solutions, the safety and reliability is still there. As I mentioned, like for example, I take some example, some of the innovations. Kone Lane, for example, we make it slick, we make it slim, but the security point of view is still there. It's not compromised, right? And taking 24/7, for example, it is actually, the purpose of 24/7 is actually kind of like to further enhance the safety or reliability of the lift, in fact. Yeah. So I think, while all of us is trying to achieve the, green buildings goals and sustainability goals, the safety and reliability is still there. So I think rest assured on that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Riwa. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. I think it was very insightful. We learned a lot. So I think in the chat we have posted. So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out to catherine.lai@kone.com. If not, you can also scan the QR code and it will take you to the website where you can inquire more. And thank you, everyone, for your time today. Happy Thursday, and hope to see you at the next BEX Asia Masterclass with us. So that's all we have for today. See you again next time. Thank you. Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.